Good morning, Warzone kids. It's a snowy, cold morning here in Vermont on the Moonlight Miles. Rosy-fingered Dawn is behind me. You can see her there, coming up over the mountains. And I was thinking about hitting rock bottom today. That's a phrase that you hear a lot in 12-step land. For all those of you Warzone kids, fellow child sex abuse survivors like myself, addicts, bulimics, people living with borderline or other personality disorders. Many of us have experienced some kind of behavior that resulted in the idea of hitting rock bottom. And in fact, I would say that for a lot of us, that's when we start the path to healing, is when we hit rock bottom. Which brings me to the point. Hitting rock bottom kind of strikes a person as a bad thing. I hit rock bottom. Well, it's very hard to tell the good news from the bad here on the path to the Western lands. And most of the time, they seem to be interchangeable. Hitting rock bottom is where you need to be to take your steps for the day on the trail. You need to have the ground under your feet. And if you're floating in the air, falling toward that ground, you can't walk on it. But when you hit that ground, when you hit rock bottom, then you can take some steps for that day on the trail to the Western lands. So you can tell me if hitting rock bottom is a good thing or a bad thing, because I can't tell myself. And it does make me think of a dream I had. I don't have a lot of dreams that I remember. And so this one stuck out. It was a dream of falling. As in an airplane, and I have 4 children. My 4 kids jumped out of the plane and pulled the parachutes, and I watched them float down toward the ground. And then I jumped out of the plane. And as soon as I jumped out the plane, I realized I didn't have any parachute on. And that was it for me. I was just going to plummet down. And I felt the terror of that. I felt the fear and the dread. And I finally done it. I finally screwed up so bad I can't fix it. Like Wile E. Coyote. And there were plot points in my life at the time, just involving basic life, that would give a reasonable person a reason to feel fear, I feel like. Just regular life stuff. And I talked to my shrink about it, and I told him, like, look, I know that often a strong feeling like fear and terror in a dream, and obvious interpretation that I jumped out of that plane and I didn't have my parachute on because I'm so stupid, and I finally made the same type of mistake for the 1,000,001th time, and that's finally the last time I'm going to make it because I'm plummeting down to the ground. And then my problems will be over. I won't be able to make that same mistake again because I'll be smushed on the ground. But I do not believe in obvious interpretations of dreams. The first one that comes to my mind, usually, anytime I have a dream that I can remember, is kind of a distraction from something else. And that's how it came to pass in this dream, when my shrink pointed out to me, well, look, also the thing that had happened in my life was I had just started this channel. And I started this channel because I went and I did a one-man show over the summertime in LA. And it was a great experience. I loved every minute of it. But it cost me a fair bit of money to put on. And it is cruelly hard to get people to leave their house and come out to any kind of theater, let alone a one-man show from someone that people never heard of. So my audiences were very small, but I love doing it. And I'm a writer and performer. I like to put myself out there in the world. And I thought, I do not want to spend the rest of my life writing one-man shows and saving money, which I'm never going to recoup in ticket sales. But I do want to try and reach my audience and speak in my own voice. So I guess I'm going to start a YouTube channel and just do it. And that's how I came to be here talking to you today. That had also just happened. And I felt a huge surge of life gratification and a feeling of peace that I was taking that was the right step for me to take on the trail to the Western Lands, was starting this channel and putting this stuff out there, getting my legs under me, figure out how to do it, how to reach my audience, my fellow Warzone kids. That had just happened as well. And my shrink said, well, your kids are floating down to the ground on parachutes. It's going to take them a while to get down there, won't it? I said, yes, it will. And he asked me about some of my hopes and dreams with regard to being a parent, which has always been very difficult for me. And the source of a lot of guilt and self-loathing and all kinds of feelings like that. And those feelings just keep me out of the present moment. Those are old woodcutter feelings. And he asked me how I felt about the trajectory of myself as a father was going. And I said, I feel like it's on the right track. It's getting better. The more I learn and become who I am, the better able I am to be the kind of father that my offspring need. And he said, well, good. It's a good thing you forgot your parachute. Because without that parachute, you're going to get to the ground before they will, even though they jumped out of the plane first. You're going to make it down there to the ground before they do. And then when they land, you'll already be there to help them because you got there first. Because you didn't have your parachute. If you had your parachute, your kids would be on the ground and they might need a father, but their father would be floating up in the sky, living in a dreamland, caught between the young hunters that can't wait to be somebody else and the old woodcutters that are carving on the past, trying to solve it. But instead of being either one of those, if you stay in the present moment, you're just going to plummet all the way down till you hit rock bottom. And there you'll be, right where you can be a father to the children and where you can be yourself to yourself. So that's what rock bottom, that's what hitting rock bottom means to this pilgrim today. When I think about plummeting through the air with nothing to hold on to, floating there, feeling the wind on my face, and seeing that ground rising up to meet me, it ain't terror I feel today, pilgrim. I feel gratitude, because I've hit rock bottom in my life numerous times. And every time I hit rock bottom, I woke up to life in one way or another. That's what hitting rock bottom means to me. And now that I'm on the ground, I can get my feet under me and I can walk today's steps on the trail, pilgrim, just like you. We're a war zone, kid, and the task we have in front of us today is living our life with the soul that we have, with the psyche that we have, and the life that we have, and the self that we are today, right here at this present moment. It's a beautiful day on the trail, pilgrim. I hope you like this video. Head on over to my YouTube channel at Trail to the Western Lands. Subscribe. I'd love that. Leave me a comment. Let me know how life is going for you. I'd love to hear from you. We got a lot of miles today, pilgrim, so let's walk them together. Daylight's burning.